Hey guys, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. I'm joined by a very special guest, first appearance on the podcast, James Barlowe. He's an NBA draft, what to say, like expert analyst. I mean, I've been tapped in with NBA Draft Junkies for the longest time. So happy that I'm able to have you on the podcast today, man.
Man, appreciate you for having me. I'm making my tour here, and I think this is my first Pistons podcast. So
Hey, let's go,
I
man.
should be good to go. I gotta get some cardies and some mint coke, but it's a little too hot for that in Texas. So
Yeah, got to get some Cartiers or some buffs. Where are you
yeah,
at? Like, I
I'm
feel
in
like
Dallas.
oh, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
I know a couple people down there that cover the Mavericks, but we're gonna be talking about the Pistons today on this podcast. So I know we're getting really close to the NBA draft. I think one of the first segments I did want to kind of get into with you with the Detroit Pistons is like, for you, who do you think makes the most sense at 21?
I think Cameron Carr makes the most sense. Will he
Mm-hmm.
be there is an entirely different conversation. I think he's somebody that could go as high as like 13 or 14, 6'5", shooting guard, wing, or however you want to, call it. Plus 7 foot wingspan, 40-inch vertical that he uses. I think he shot almost 40% from three, and he had to create a lot of those threes. Like he's really, really good. I think he's exactly what you need. The problem is you're picking 21. So, and then there's a lot of point guards in this draft, and we'll just kind of see if that's what you in the direction you want to go, or do you? I don't know. The Pistons have some options. They are going to have an interesting summer for sure.
I mean, do they even keep the pick? Like that's that's a whole other thing. Like, watch me do all this draft coverage and they trade it like within the next couple of days. I'll be like, damn it. But I'm with you, man. Cameron Carr is like my dream pick for the Pistons. I just don't know if he's going to get past OKC, Miami, and then Charlotte. Like I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, really, Oklahoma City probably shouldn't be picking anybody because they already
Yeah.
got guys who are not playing. Charlotte is interesting because Kobe White is unrestricted. Hit some big shots for them, but they could, and also at the same time, they could stand to use somebody who could get to the paint. So I don't know what Charlotte is going to do. Maybe, but at the same time, I have a feeling the Pistons just trade the pick because the guy that they won't be there. I maybe it's like if Cameron Carr goes, then you trade the pick because at that point, while there is point guard talent, like I said, I don't necessarily think that's exactly what you need because you have that spot pretty much figured out.
Yeah, I feel like when you kind of look at the point guards within range, which we'll get into a little bit later, like I think a lot of like what they already have, like they have a Danish Jenkins who was an incredible story this year, which was able to fill in for Cade Cunningham and also play off ball. I mean, you have Marcus Astor, but you don't really play him. Like you only play him when you have to. Um, I would find it really hard to believe if they would try to draft another point guard, but Cam Carr to me, I think it just makes so much sense. Like I know there's been so much reporting of possibly a Trey Murphy to Detroit, which I don't like the price. I just don't because I know it's going to get expensive. But I see a little bit of Trey Murphy and Cam Carr when I watch the tape.
Yeah, he's like 3 inches shorter, but I also see some Devin Vassell in Cameron Carr. And, Devin Vassell was guarding multiple positions. It seemed like he blocked every Chet layup attempt, dunk attempt in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Hit some big shots. And, I think that Carr and Vassell have a lot of same similarities as far as catch and shoot guys, defend, can do enough off the dribble where you chase them off the line and not totally lost. I thought Cameron Carr was a very good weak side shot blocker for Baylor. I mean, if he's at 21, that's absolutely your guy, but I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Me either. I know a lot of Pistons fans, like, us living in Michigan, like they're hoping Yaxel will be down at 21, which I think he's another trade up option. Which I don't know. There's a lot of just like little chatter you hear here in Michigan. We have a lot of Michigan guys on this roster. It's like Duncan Robinson, you have Karis LeVert. A few years ago, we had Tim Hardaway Jr. So there's definitely a Michigan connection that this front office likes. I mean, I know he's a little bit of an older prospect, but I feel like he would be a really good fit, especially with the hole at power forward. Don't really know how many more years you can get out of Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I really like Yaxel, especially for a team like Detroit. Like I think on a veteran team, he'd be really really good. Obviously, because he's old, he's ready to contribute, and he can do just basically everything. I think on a team that's not good, I think it gets. I don't want to say it gets bad for him, but it's just like you're wasting his talents because he's somebody that's ready to contribute right away. Especially like you said, I mean, Tobias gave you his all, but he's getting up there in age, and I think that Yax would be a great replacement. But like you said, at 21, I mean, unless he's just bombing his interviews, which I don't even think it would matter as much because there's so much productive tape out there of him. I mean, he'd be a great selection as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are the two. Like probably the one guy that I love the most is Hannes Steinbach, but I don't think he falls at 21. He's too good. Like he's probably the one prospect that I look at that like every time I watch a tape, I just fall in love with him even more.
So you envision Hannes and Duran playing together?
I see Han as more of a four in the NBA. Like I kind of buy the perimeter shot making. Like I definitely could see him stepping out and just stretching the floor a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would be matchup dependent. I mean, you can just look at their two playoff matchups. It would work against Orlando, right?
Yeah.
It would definitely work against Cleveland because they play three power forwards. But like if you happen to run into like Boston, I think it gets tricky, right? You
Yeah.
run into the Knicks, I think it gets tricky. I think it gets tricky if you run to the 76ers, but he's a good rotation combo big, I guess you could call him.
Yeah.
Uh, I think my thing with him is he defends like a five, but he's in a four's body in the modern NBA. But I think he does have a good touch, and he should be able to stretch the floor.
Just the rebounds, man. Like even though Detroit was a good rebounding team, maybe it's just me because I'm a little bit older, but like no one boxes out anymore. And
No, no, no,
it,
no.
like I crash out every time I just see an offensive rebound. No one's boxing out. Everyone's just looking up at the ball. Like I think that's why I like Hannes so much. It's just the way he can just clean the glass and just grab rebounds.
Yeah, he's somebody I think Oklahoma City would definitely entertain though, because they are going to have to pay, I believe, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Hmm.
And rumor is there are teams in the lottery. There's a team in Atlanta that really likes Hartenstein. So yeah, we'll see how that works. Like I said, they're a small market team with a big paycheck to pay next year, and
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have to start looking to consolidate, and that's why I think they're gonna be trading guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have Chet and you have J Dub on $41 million cap hits next year, and then you have
Yeah.
team options with Lou Dort at 18 million.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to remember the center they took last year to Georgetown. I believe.
Thomas Sorber.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that could kind of be like a replacement for iHeart. I know a lot of people are really shocked that they took him last year, but I mean, like, who knows? Maybe OKC knows something we don't.
Well, I think they've been planning for the future. Like,
Yeah,
when you got to think, okay, they won the championship. They had what I think the 11th or 12th pick last year. It was the
yeah,
middle of the first round pick. They knew that Shea was going to get that super max, which goes into I think 27 season. I mean, I think Presti's the smartest guy in the room, so he's probably thinking 2, 3 years ahead of the schedule. And I think the Dort experience is done, so they have to move accordingly. So I could definitely see them taking a big in this draft if they keep their pick.
yeah. That's also like you also hear like a little bit of rumors of maybe going into the top five, which I don't even know who they would pick if they landed with like the Clippers pick. Like I don't even know. Like I don't know if they would like any of the guards there.
I could see them because realistically they have two guys. Well, okay, AJ Mitchell, uh,
Hmm.
really really good, right?
Yeah,
If I could see Oklahoma City saying, you know what, we like a Keaton Wagler or a Michael Brown, but those are the only two guards that they like because they're bigger than the other ones and they can play multiple positions. But like the point guard, like A cup, I couldn't see them one A cup. Like that's probably
no,
not even in question. I don't think they'd have interest in Kingston Flemings, but also, I mean, the local guy here in Texas, Casey Wallace, kind of made it knowing that, hey, man, I had a lot of fun when I had the ball in my hands, and he's going to be somebody who's going to be extension eligible, not this summer, but I believe the next summer. So again, you just never know with Presti. He's moving chess pieces, and it seems like the rest of the league is playing checkers.
Yeah, 4D chess over there, man. It's just like, especially when I looked at their draft picks, I was like, oh my god, they have even more from that Paul George trade. Like, good lord, man, that's just insane. It's like
The
it's still
gift that
paying.
keeps on giving, man.
It's still paying dividends. Like to be honest, like as like an NBA fan, like watching OKC, I'd be like, bro, like there's got to be a Presti rule at this point. There just has to be.
I mean, hey, people want to keep making these deals and thinking that these picks don't materialize, but at the same time, look what the Knicks did. Like they gave up
Yeah,
a load of picks, and it works. It works sometimes, and sometimes
yeah.
it doesn't. So
Yeah, I mean it really does. I know we talked about like who makes sense for the Pistons at 21. For you, if there was maybe someone that maybe was projected within the top 15 and they slip, who do you think that could be at 21?
that's interesting. Top 15 that could slip, but at the same time doesn't make sense. I could see Phylon slipping, but again, we
Okay.
talked about, actually, you know what? If Phylon slips, I wouldn't be opposed to taking him at 21 because again, I think he has on the ball value and off the ball value. And I really just like his moxie, how he plays. And while he's a little bit thinner frame guard, I think you guys have the defenders to, clean up any mess that he would not be able to make on, or who he wouldn't be able to guard on a defense end. Now he's going to give effort. He was a much better defender his freshman year than his sophomore year, but his usage bumped up, and it asked a lot of him. But I do think he's competitive, and at the same time, if he's your second unit guy, because you say Dennis Jenkins is, or you can play with Dennis Jenkins. Maybe you don't have Sasser anymore. Phylon has plenty of offensive juice, right? And I really envision him to be more of a second unit, like 13 point per game guy than a starter in the NBA. But he's definitely somebody I think that could play alongside Cade. And I think that would also bring Cade's like turnover numbers down as he continues to progress into the superstar that he is. So I think he's somebody that could fall. Other guys, I mean, it's really hard to tell. I know some people are. You may not want to hear this, but some people are low. I'm really high on Dalen Swain, right? I think Dalen
Mhm.
Swain is a lottery pick, but Dalen Swain might be a little too close to Arthur Thompson and Ron Holland.
Yeah.
And I don't think you want to repeat that 3 times because they can't shoot. And Dalen Swain is a better shooter than them, but the jury is still out on him being a knockdown, well, really a shooter in the NBA because he had a huge jump from his freshman year and his sophomore year to his junior year. But he's somebody I don't think he should slip, but other people in the space think that he's going to go in the 20s. And you're talking about 6'7", ball skills, defends, very good athlete. He's almost like, man, it sounds bad. He's almost like what you want Ron Holland to be. So he's somebody that I would feel comfortable taking if I was to trade at 21 and just saying, you know what, one of these guys is going to figure it out.
Well, someone's gonna hit. Like we're gonna figure it out eventually. Um, it's funny because like when I ask people about Phylon, I just get a mixed review. Like some people like you, they're extremely high on him. Other people, they're kind of like 50-50 in terms of just like the guards, these point guards in this class. Like, what is it about him that maybe turns some people off in your estimation?
Well, he only weighed in at 176, and you got to think 176 is already on the light end, and he's not like a blur. Like a
Yeah.
lot of his game is just I'm crafty. I change speeds very well, but I'm not fast. And like if you look at another former Detroit, it seems like he's played for every team in the league, but Dennis Schroeder is
Yeah.
around that same weight class, but his first step is very good, whereas Phylon is just more so methodical. He's not slow, but we just watched the finals. Like Jalen Brunson doesn't beat anybody in the foot race. He just kind of wheels his way to where he needs to be. But again, there's a huge weight difference between Jalen Brunson and LeBaron Phylon. I have Phylon, I think, at like 15 on the board. But
Mhm.
when I did my last podcast, I had 15 and 15 to 20 to me can go kind of like either way. It's just like, okay, who do you like the most? I don't think there's a huge gap between those guys. But Phylon is really hard to. You can't ignore the improvements that he made year over year from a freshman year to a sophomore year. I believe he shot like 32% on jumpers as a freshman, and he jumped that number to 40% as a sophomore. And when you watch the tape, he's not just shooting, catch shoot shots. It's step backs. It's off the dribble. It's isolation. It's a little bit of everything. So he just weighs 175 and he's a below the rim athlete.
Yeah, I mean, like out of the guards, like he's one. I was like, I don't think he's going to be in range, but to your point, he might slip. There's always someone in this draft that always slips every year. Like last year, I was really surprised Danny Wolf slipped all the way down. Like a lot of people thought he was going to be a lottery pick, but he slips. Daniel Slade, man, like that to me, I think would crash. Like the whole city of Detroit would crash out. Like I'm just telling you right now. Like you already got two guys that are really good defenders, but they can't shoot. But hey, who knows? Like maybe Ron Holland is involved in a Trey Murphy deal, and you're looking for another defender. Maybe it does kind of check a box. Do you kind of think like the shooting projection that he had at Texas is sustainable if he's not getting that same type of usage?
That's the interesting point, but he was an 81% foul shooter. Okay. So he has really good touch. When you watch him play and he's getting to his spots and he's getting to the paint, when he can't get all the way to the basket or it's clogged up, he shoots floaters. Like those are signs of good touch. Really, the issue is he just has like a slight hitch in his jumper. And that, sometimes it's as much as how good does it look versus how efficient you are. Now, again, we'll take 34% from three and 80% free throw shooting, which means you should be able to turn into a league average shooter. But we know that the Pistons like their athletes, and he's an athlete, and he has, I think Asar has ball skills, but that's not what you ask him to do. I think he has more on ball skills than Ron Holland, and the playmaking is there. It's like if you can get him to shoot 30. I mean, like what's the Radford? I'm drawing the blank. Went to Radford. He shot 35% from three off the bench for Detroit, and he had never had the reputation.
Oh, Javonte Green.
Javonte Green, exactly. Yeah, so Javonte Green was a really good shooter this year. If I'm the Pistons and I'm like, you know what, we won 60 games and we basically not really played in the phone booth, but we were a bottom 5 3-point shooting team last year. We're going to defend. They still had a top 10 offense, even though they didn't make a lot of threes. And if you say, you know what, we're going to roll out Cade. I mean, you have to play Duncan Robinson. He was really your second best player, offensive player in the playoffs. But Cade, Duncan Robinson, and then we'll figure out. And we have a rotation of like athletes. I mean, you can get there. I understand the concerns for Pistons fans with Swain because the jury is still out on him as a shooter. But he's a lot cheaper, I'm telling you. A lot cheaper than Trey Murphy, a lot cheaper than Austin Reeves. So
oh man, the Austin Reeves stuff, like even to get to him, like you would have to release so many cap holes just to kind of get to that figure.
You got your bench.
I think it's just more Lakers fans just having wishful thinking that Jalen Duren could be available, which I mean they've been on Jalen Duren's tail, I feel like, for the last couple of years, but sounds like he's going to get paid big dollars in Detroit to stay here, though.
Luka had the quote today that he wants shooters and athletic lob threats. I think Jalen Duren's an athlete, but he's not the athlete that Luka needs at the 5. And I would say your biggest threat to losing Jalen Duren would probably be the Chicago Bulls because they have plenty of money and no front court. But
scares me.
Yeah, and money talks. So that I think that probably the biggest threat to losing him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you just have a reunion with Daniel Gafford in LA. I feel like that was probably like one of his favorite.
That's the kind of lob threat. Yeah, he's like a really vertical lob threat. Yeah, that's the kind of guy he needs. But I don't think the fan base would like to do another deal with the Lakers, not the Mavericks.
No, I feel like I feel like the Lakers number should just be blocked at this point. If you're a Mavericks fan, like I'm still like I still don't even process the Luka trade. Like it's like that is it couldn't even get approved on 2K. Like what are we doing?
And they didn't even get Austin Reeves out of it. Okay, you got some. At least get their second best player, but
Yeah,
what do I know?
Max Christie is looking like a good piece too. It's just like, damn, man.
Max Christie might not start next year, man.
That, yeah, that's. I mean, you got Kyrie coming back, so I mean, Dallas is going to be an interesting team. I think they'll fight for a play-in spot with Coop and all those guys down there, but it'll be interesting. Um, I think one guy I'm kind of I see a lot of people hype him up because he's kind of like an analytical darling is Alan Graves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just not too in love with him. I mean, like, could you try to sell me Alan Graves at 21 if he's there?
All right, so I can sell you an Allen Graves at 21 because we mentioned that the East runs big,
Hmm.
and you can play Graves and Duran together. I think Allen Graves, he's like the opposite of Steinbeck to me.
Yeah,
He is the size of a 4, but he defends like a 5. And he's a really good shot blocker. And I think he's a good passer. I think the pick and pop is going to definitely work, especially with someone like Cade. And they give you a rotation of bigs, Isaiah Stewart, Duran, if you are able to retain him, and Allen Graves. I think the analytics love him, and he's another guy who's going to be good on a playoff team because he just does all of the little things in the margins that help you win games. He's interested at 21. While he does feel a need for shooting, it's not going to be to the volume that the Pistons need to get over that hump. And at the same time, that would put him in line to replace Tobias Harris. It's just a matter of projecting the East. And are you saying, you know what? Are we going to try to go big, or are we going to try to just continue to have what we have and add another wing piece versus a front court player? But he's actually good, man. You see online people have him like as a lottery pick. He's just not athletic enough to be a lottery pick to me. But he can definitely have an impact for a good team for sure.
I'm just
High
not
level
sold.
role player, man. High level role player.
I just can't. I can't do it. It's, for me, like to me, like he's like one of the guys that you play at the Y. He's kind of got like that old man game where it's just like nothing's like flashy. He does things like really really well, like nothing elite, but just does things like really really well. I don't know. Like I see a lot of Pistons fans. Like apparently one of a locked on Pistons had him in a mock draft at 21. People are saying in the live chat right now, but I don't know if they do go power forward. I could totally see them going like Chris Senick Jr. or something like that. Could totally see that.
You know what though? I'd rather have Allen Graves than Chris Sinak Jr. To be honest
Uh,
with you.
I know.
Again, Sinak's gonna wow you with the athleticism, but I've mentioned before, we people believe in his shooting profile, but he shot sub 65% from the free throw line. He shot sub 33% from the 3-point line. The same numbers that Koa Pete shot. But Koa Pete, everybody's telling Koa Pete, go back to school. You can't shoot. Versus Sanak, everybody's like, oh man, there's potential. Now again, different athletes, different size. Like, I get all that, but it's interesting to me that one guy is being billed as a potential shooter and one guy is
Yeah.
like got gloves on and he shoots with 2 hands. I'd rather have Graves. I just think Sanak, while he's talented, I think he's a super long-term project. And I think you win 60 games. Maybe you feel like you have some leeway to have projects, but he just seems like a guy like the old Hornets would take, where he's tall, he's athletic. Maybe we see what he can have there. And I don't think that's what the timeline for the Piston is a project power forward.
I mean, the fact that you said old Hornets would take actually just gave me PTSD for Hornets fans because, like, I mean, you look at their drafts, like before they got like a new regime, like a lot of the draft picks were just like they never hit. They just
Yeah.
drafted for potential. But I mean, their new front office, I think they've done a really good job of just
Yeah,
like
for sure.
especially last draft, like getting Guy Knappel and Ryan Kalkbrenner. Like they had an incredible draft. They'll probably have another good draft. Like I could totally see them taking Morez Johnson like at 14.
Yeah, yeah,
Could totally see it. Like they need that mental toughness, especially if they see Detroit again. You never know.
yeah, for sure.
So we have to get into one of our topics that is presented by FanDuel with the NBA draft coming up. There's a lot of talk about who could possibly going number one. AJ Debanza is the odds-on favorite at minus 450. I mean, do you believe in the Darren Peterson smoke whatsoever from his camp, or do you think it's just smoke wanting to go number one?
I absolutely believe in Darren Peterson being potentially the number one pick. I mean, if you look at their head-to-head matchups, it's always been Darren Peterson being the better player. And if you look at the matchup while it was just a half of basketball, like he dominated that matchup against AJ Debanza at Kansas. And like that was a high that was it was all over TV. Every NBA scout was there. Like that was a really pressured environment. And like, for 20 minutes, we saw who clearly was the better player. I know that it's press run season, not just for me, but for everybody. But like the
Yeah.
Morris twins were like, man, that dude is an NBA player. If we've never seen one before, some of that is some Kansas talk, but I definitely believe in Darren Peterson being in the conversation. I mean, John Wall, and that's not a
Yeah.
Kansas guy. John Wall is telling you like it's Darren Peterson. And sometimes the NBA guys look at things differently, but like John Wall is a smart dude. John Wall is a basketball person, not just a former player. So I mean, this is not gambling advice, but I don't think it's smoke behind Darren Peterson potentially going number one.
You never know, man. Like I thought they were going to re-sign Trae Young, but I mean, there's reports that Miami might actually be interested in Trae Young, so maybe they are looking for more of a point guard of the future. Um, I just feel like Washington, like where they're at, they might just go for AJ Debanza. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Darren Peterson went. I know a lot of people were like really on him for just like not playing or not playing in games or saying that he can't go in college basketball. But when he was out there, man, he was just a blur. It was insane.
Yeah, I think he lost there. If he doesn't play this year, and this is why I don't have the issue with him like subbing himself out. He made it a conversation because he wasn't always available. If he decided to sit out his entire freshman year, I believe that his high school tape was that good for him to go number one. And, by playing and the injury, like he put some doubt into the audience, but nah, that dude is really, really good. And I've said it before. If he shoots as well as he got to the basket before he got to Kansas, like if he marries those two attributes together, then I think he's the best player in this draft.
Yeah, I know. I was listening to your podcast earlier throughout the day, and you're like, "There's like 3 number one overall picks in this
Yeah,
draft." Like,
it,
it's the deepest draft I've seen in like quite some time.
yeah, it's like if you're Memphis at 3, you're like kicking your feet up because you're gonna get everybody's going to do the dirty work for you. And
Mhm.
all you have to do is just like wait for the silver to walk off the stage, and you know who your third pick is. They're in a good. I think Chicago's in a good spot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the talent in America is amazing right now, and and this is like a tangent, but we're not gonna lose to France in 2028. It's not happening now.
No, no way, no way. Team
No,
USA is gonna be stacked.
yeah,
I mean, Memphis could either come away with Cameron Boozer, which I think they would absolutely love, or
yep.
Darren Peterson, which
Mhm.
like he said, like Memphis is they got their feet up, they're chilling. If they draft Darren Peterson, I think it becomes a little bit easier if you want to move on from John Morant and just kind of, restart with him as your franchise guard, or a guy like Cam Boozer, who I think they've really have tried to find, which I think he could be a franchise altering player as well. So
Yeah, great problems to have.
yeah,
Great problems. It's not the 2024 draft.
no, not at all. I know earlier we kind of talked about like trade up options. We talked about Cameron Carr. We talked about Yaxel Lundenberg. I mean, if you're Detroit, I mean, is there any prospects do you think that they should like kind of look at? Maybe it's within like maybe that top 8 area.
Interesting. This is not the draft for, well, drafting on need is always, a challenge. And the good thing
Yeah.
about Cade Cunningham is that he's 6'6". So you
Mhm.
don't necessarily have to put a traditional shooting guard next to him. You can put somebody smaller. You just need to have somebody who can create paint touches. As far as like in the top 8, a dream scenario, if you were able to somehow crack that top 8, a Michael Brown Jr. would be great, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be 6'5" in shoes, shoot, pass, dribble. That dynamic of him and Cade, I mean, like that looks like the new age Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Keenan Wagler would definitely fit in Detroit. Again, we're talking about 6'6", very good shooter, on the ball, off the ball, and you have the athleticism behind you to make up for his athletic shortcomings. But while he's not the greatest athlete, he's tough. He understands game angles. He plays strong. He just needs to put on some weight. I don't know what kind of assets you have. I mean, if Jalen Duren doesn't have the playoff performance that he has, and you want to say that that price is too much for us, then maybe you can trade up, signage. I don't know. I just don't know how you're going to get to that top 10. But
Yeah.
those two guards would fit perfectly. Not just fit, but they have the fit and the skill to like put Detroit in a really good position. I just don't know how you're going to get there.
I think 2 teams, which I know they probably would trade it, is Brooklyn for sure. I
Mhm.
think Brooklyn, I think they were kind of pissed like how the lottery shaped out. I don't blame them. Um, there's reports of them possibly being interested in Jalen Duren.
Mhm.
There's reports of them like shopping Michael Porter Jr. Maybe there's some type of sign and trade. Maybe you can get a 6th pick out of them. And I could see Sacramento too. I know it's a new front office, new regime, but I mean they have so many older players. It
So would
wouldn't
you
su
be interested in a Zach Levine then? Because you got to take on that
yeah.
$50 million contract.
If I have to take on Zach Levine and I get a top 10 pick, I would consider it 100%.
Well, if there's no top 10 pick attached to it.
Ooh, it's only one more year. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I would consider it because I think that's what Cade needs. That's the archetype I think this organization has been looking for. Like they were hoping Jaden Ivey was going to turn into that. They were hoping maybe Danish Jenkins could kind of be that archetype. That's the archetype I think they need. It's just like a bucket getter, a guy that can get you a cool 20, can play point guard if you need him to. Him and Cade could, play off ball. Like Cade could play more shooting guard. He could play more point guard. But Zach Levine's name, I think, is a little bit touchy subject with Pistons fans just because of the contract and just how when he was in Chicago, he elected to have ankle surgery because it was getting really close to getting traded to Detroit. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to
I
get
mean,
ankle
but
surgery.
that was the Monty Williams Detroit Pistons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see some reservation in that, but it's a new day. Zach Levine, I like Zach Levine, right? I don't like him as my number one option. I don't like him as my number two option. But if he's my go get buckets, very good shooter, and I have him next to K, then I really like him. Even if it's at 50 million, he's like you said, it's 1 year. Like you said, he's exactly the kind of guy that you would want. And like I honestly think that the answer to the Pistons question is in free agency or the trade market versus the draft this year. But I do think a guy like Abuka Corey at 21 would be interesting, because he, puts the ball on the ground, very athletic. He just may not be what you want to put next to K long term. At the same time, he's just really, really good.
With the dance.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
No way. Okay, I think we're good. We back?
Yeah, I'm good.
Man, we're having like crazy storms over here in Michigan.
No, it's okay. I understand.
It's been crazy. Every time it rains here, it seems like just the Wi-Fi goes out. But I think you were talking about Abuka Corey. I
You
think
heard
was
me? I was just freestyling because I saw you freeze up. So
yeah.
I like Abuka Okori. He may be somebody there at 21. He's extremely talented. And if you're just saying we're going to take best player available, you decide that Marcus Sasser. I think Okori's talent is greater than Sasser, greater than I'm drawing a blank. The guard you just brought in, he played playoff minutes off,
Oh,
off of
Danish
two.
Jenkins.
Dennis Jenkins, yeah, I'm sorry, he's
Yeah.
from Dallas. I should know Dennis Jenkins' name on top of my head, but those guys play next to K. Sasser in moments, Jenkins in moments. Corey's not the off the ball threat that Jenkins is, but as far as just like a change of pace, getting downhill, I think he is worth a flyer at 21. And also like Bennett Sturts. I don't value Bennett Sturts as a point guard in the NBA. I think he's a combo guard. And again, off the ball shooting should be very, very good. Some playmaking that should be very, very good. And again, you have the defender in Sir Thompson. Cade is a high level defender as well. He can get the weaker of that perimeter matchup. I think that's probably if Cameron Carr is not there, I think your best bet for guards is probably Bennett Sturts as far as like fitting in, providing shooting, and providing playmaking. He's not going to get you the paint touches, I don't think, but he's such a really good shooter and decision maker. I think it works next to Cade Cunningham.
Would Christian Anderson kind of like fit into like the Abuka Corey Bennett Sturts like point guard conversation at 21? You think?
Yeah, again, he is similar to he's just smaller, right?
Yeah,
Now he measures well, plus 6 inch wingspan. He competes, but he's just a smaller frame guy. But he's one of the better shooters in this draft for
yeah.
sure. Very good decision maker, very good passer, and he just has a very high feel for the game. I wouldn't be mad at that. So if you ask me to rank the guards who I think would be available, could be available at 21, and we say Cameron Carr is absolutely not there, it would be either 1A, 1B between Sturts and Christian Anderson, and then the clear number 2 for me, even though I value him more, just in that situation, it would be a Corey.
It would be Abuka Corey.
Yes, Abuka Corey.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit at the end there, but I feel like he's a player that a lot of Pistons fans are like kind of really zeroing on in. Apparently, the Pistons have been doing like a lot of homework with him, like
Mhm.
AAU, high school tape, stuff like that.
Man,
I
his tape is amazing.
I mean, I haven't gone that deep, just like his the Stanford tape. I haven't gone into the AAU or the high school stuff. Maybe I should. I just think like knowing this organization, I think they really would love a Christian Anderson. I mean, you talk about like loving athletes, the guy that shot really good. I think like what 40%.
High
It
volume.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's a little bit on the shorter side, but I mean, when you have a guard like Cade Cunningham, you have a forward like Asar Thompson. I feel like they could kind of hide him in a sense when you're just like defending in the pick and roll. But um, he's a guy that I think that does make a whole lot of sense. I think if you do draft him, though, you probably have to move on from Marcus Sasser because I just don't think there's enough room for all those guards in the rotation.
I agree. Yeah. Somebody's going to be the odd man out. And again, Jenkins, he played better in the playoffs. I mean, bigger staff trusted him more down the
Mhm.
stretch, especially in those games when Duncan Robinson was injured. I think he's going to, end up being the guy that they keep, and Sasser's probably going to be a free agent at some point. But yeah, I agree with you as far as Christian Anderson being the guy that they would probably select because, like you said, you have the pieces to make it work around him to cover up his deficiencies, and you still need to get better as a team as a from the shooting standpoint. And like I said, he's one of the better shooters in this draft for sure.
Yeah, I just worry about Bennett Sturts of like how he could create separation at the NBA level. I'm sure you've kind of seen that same concern. Like, even though like he took on a huge offensive role at Iowa, like, is it right to kind of have those concerns with him possibly in the NBA of just like self creation and like getting more space?
Yeah, I have those concerns. I talked about, or when I do talk about Bennett Sturts, a lot of him breaking the 3-point line comes off of zoom action, where he throws the ball into the high post
Hmm.
and he cuts off of it. Like that's how he gets his paint touches. Not too much of it is self created, like not really at all. And the isolation numbers were really really good for him. A lot of that was there's value in it, but he didn't beat anyone off the dribble. It was the points per possessions were extremely high because he shot unreal off of the dribble. And he's basically like his favorite move was a crossover step back going left and shoot a three. And it works. You can't really argue against it, but it's the NBA and they're gonna zoom in on these deficiencies that you have. And like I don't that's why I consider him a combo card. I don't think he's going to be the guy that brings the ball up the court every time. Now, is he a secondary playmaker, secondary second side action? I think so because he's such a good shooter. You're not going to be able to go underneath his screens. It's just what happens when you go over his screens and he can't go by anybody, or like that lack of athleticism comes into play. So
He reminds me a lot of Peyton Pritchard when I watch him. Just the way like he likes to get into the like those like really like deep step back threes. I don't think like it's like a one comparison as a prospect, but when I
mhm.
watch him, see a little bit of Peyton Pritchard, see a little bit of Tyler Hero, the way he likes to come off screens. But I think he's one prospect that a lot of Pistons fans are just like, we do not want Bennett Sturts in Detroit. If he comes away with the 21st pick, I think a lot of Pistons fans would actually be pretty upset with it.
Really, yes.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. He can really shoot. I think he probably shot like 35% from three. He's probably a 40% shooter in NBA just because he won't have to take those same kind of shots that he had to take at Iowa. Like I think he was one of the leaders in the country in minutes played.
Hmm.
I mean, they gave him this Iron Man badge, and you won't nearly have to ask as much of him in the NBA. But like I said, if he's your secondary, dribble handoff action with Jalen Duren, then it works. But in the playoffs, they may not work as well because those actions blow up, and Jalen Duren took a huge step back in the
Yeah.
playoffs. So
Yeah, I mean, they scouted the dribble drives, and he doesn't really have like a go-to move in the post or a consistent mid-range jump shot, which I know it's in there. It's just it's
mhm.
not on display yet. But I don't think he'd be a bad player. I just think I would probably be a little bit higher on Anderson or a Corey. I think a Corey, to me, I could see him going as high as like 16 to the Grizzlies. Like I could totally see it.
I think he can go as high as 13 to the Heat.
Ooh,
Yeah,
damn.
the Heat have nothing like him, and Tyler Hero's jump shooter. They brought in Norman Powell. He's going to shoot a bunch of jumpers. Corey's going to create paint touches, and I don't think they have anything like him. And I would swing. I would like. Yeah, I mean, the Heat. What do you have to lose? You're a playing team every year.
Yeah.
I would take him at 13 if I was the Heat.
I mean, guard rotation of Davion Mitchell and Corey would actually be pretty nice. I'm not even gonna lie.
There you go. You got your what do they call it? What did Detroit call their backfield when they had Gibbs and
Sonic and Knuckle?
Yeah, there you go. You got your Sonic and Knuckles on the basketball court.
Man, that would be like as a Piston fan, I would hate to see the Heat because like I think a Corey he just kind of screams like Heat culture. Like when you're talking about just like a prospect, like he could definitely be like a franchise guard if they wanted him to be. But hey, man, they might trade for Giannis. I don't even know if they're picking it there. I really don't know.
That's true. That's true. I keep hearing that this Giannis thing there's a lot of legs behind it, and it's a matter of how high they want to move up. But they can move up, I should say. But at the same time, the other teams have the leverage because Giannis is a free agent, I believe, in a couple years. So it's like, Milwaukee can't really, they have the biggest trade piece, but I'm not trading for a guy for a rental, especially if I'm like, I don't think Giannis puts Miami over the top.
No,
because you're gonna have to give Hero to get him. So I don't know what the rush is for Miami. Boston is a little different. So
yeah, I don't know. Like the reports are saying that it could last all the way up until like free agency. Like kind of, it's like I think Milwaukee's at a point where like I don't really think they have the same leverage as they did like before the trading deadline. Like I think,
agree with.
Yeah, because like if it's just Miami and Boston, which I think it's going to be at least a 3 to 4 team trade. Like I could see New Orleans. I could see Jaylen Brown being a Pelican. I could see Trey Murphy like getting rerouted somewhere. Like I could just see it being like a huge trade this summer.
Yeah, I don't think the NBA is going to look nearly, at least the East, it's going to look totally different. And it's going to come down to that Giannis trade. Jaylen Brown kind of made it known that he had the most fun in his life when he was the man. The NBA is going to be really interesting to watch this summer. I just don't let it drag into free agency, man. Let's get this over with. Let me get 2K updated on draft night. Let's move on.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like the Kevin Durant trade from like last year, which was like they kept adding on to it. I think it was the largest trade in like NBA history. It was like 8 teams, like with draft picks and everything. Like they kept adding to it. Like that's insane to me.
Yeah,
some like ESPN trade machine that you get like DM'd, like, hey, you think this will work? I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, man. It seems like every year it's the biggest trade in NBA history with the most teams and the most players, and I don't think it's going to be any different this summer.
Nah, I mean, you don't even know who's going to be the champion next year. Like Dolan doesn't want to be going to the second apron. He's like, I don't want to run it back. I was like, wow, okay.
Like I said, you got to make these moves, and that's why it just may not make sense to draft anybody. If you're Detroit, you get a Trey Murphy. I might put you. I mean, I don't think Cleveland's coming back. I don't buy Cleveland, long term. So now you're just fighting off the Knicks and whatever the Celtics are able to piece together.
Yeah, I mean, you got Indiana coming back too. So I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think once Hallie gets healthy, because it seems like he's still dealing with the shingle stuff, which kind of sucks. But I mean,
yeah, he's still a little happy from not being able to work out.
Yeah. I got one more question for you. I've been asking a lot of NBA draft analysts that have been coming on the show this summer. Like, who's been your favorite prospect to evaluate out of this class?
This class is so deep. My favorite, I'm gonna give you like 3 of them, right?
Okay.
I'm a big Michael Brown fan. I said Michael Brown was the best point guard when he was missing shots. But I believe that, when you factor in the size, the athleticism, the playmaking, I think he's a good on the ball defender. I just think like when you put together that Venn diagram of the things that you want your point guard to have in today's NBA, even though Jalen Brunson did win a championship, like he has all of the stuff to, get you closer to that middle. Uh, but I think that as well, I, I'm a big Jaden Quaintance fan, and I know the knee injury scares people, but like the film that he put out at 17 years old was absolutely amazing. I think he is if healthy, now that if is as big as he is, but if healthy, he has defensive player of the year type talent. And I just hope that he's healthy. I know he didn't get the green room invite, unfortunately, but like if he's there at
Oh,
20 and the Spurs are like, y'all gonna let us have this kid? All
I'll
right,
be
man.
sick.
Good luck scoring on them for the
I'll be
next
sick.
5 years.
I'll be sick.
Yeah. So I put my big board out and I have him as a top. I think if he's healthy, he's a top 10 player. That if is really, really big. And it just doesn't seem to be any like news about his knee injury. So if you were asking about two favorite players, it'd probably be Michael Brown and Jaden Quains. And they're on totally different ends of the spectrum. One guy stock is rising, and the other guy, we have no clue what his stock is. But I promise you, if the Spurs are there at 20 and he's there, and I would roll the dice because, like, what do you have to lose if you're the Spurs? You
Uh,
know?
I like I said, I would be absolutely sick if he's there at 20 because the Spurs are already difficult enough with Stephon Castle and
Right.
Wembanyama to score on, man. Like if he's there, like man, do the Pistons roll the dice if he's there at 21? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
listen, if you think that the knee isn't that big, I mean, honest, if he's able to, if he's healthy and he's a 24 minutes per game guy, like Robert Williams is, then I think it's worth it. Because you watch that Blazers series, he was the better big between him and Klingon because he could move and he has another level of athleticism. I really hope Quains is healthy because he's gonna be. I think he's a force in the NBA. Like at 17, the stuff that he was doing, it was amazing.
I have two prospects as well. One's a little bit of hometown bias, because I actually got to cover him in high school. Darius Acuff when he was here in Detroit.
Okay.
Um, some of the stuff he was able to do as a sophomore, like no one has ever done at the high school that he was at. I mean, winning Mr. Public School League as a sophomore at 16, like just dropping like 30 points. Like I kind of knew he was a little bit different, getting the
Mhm.
cover like some kids here locally. I think the only other kid that is in college that I got the cover was Trey McKinney,
Mhm.
who's at Michigan right now. Obviously, didn't honestly he'd be a good pick for the Pistons, but he decided to stay in college. But those two I was able to cover a lot of their games before he did transfer to IMG Academy, which I don't really blame him. Obviously, like a really good high school to go to,
Mhm.
and then probably the second guy, which I know a lot of Pistons fans had actually asked about, was Malik Thomas.
Mm.
Um, I feel like he could be in play at 21 if Detroit was really looking for a bucket getter. Like I
He
feel like he makes sense.
he is such a Detroit bad boys dude. It makes a lot of sense. I think he's a really good shooter. And you know what? If it were between him and Isaiah Evans, I would go with Malik Thomas. I do like Malik. He's just a little stiff, but at the same, if you're saying, or if the knock on him is that he's 6'3" and he's not a great athlete, well, again, you got 6'6" Cunningham, so it doesn't, him. He's gonna be fine. That's actually a really good, that's a really good spot for him at if he's able to go high enough at 21 because he just fits what you're trying to do. And like I said, I think he's really, really tough. He rebounded really, really well on the AAU level. They didn't ask him to rebound as much, but like I think he was almost at like 6 rebounds a game on the
Yeah.
EYBL, and like that's just straight like grittiness, toughness, because he's not a great athlete. Like he's down there like in the trenches. So I actually do like that pick for the Detroit Pistons. If 21 isn't too high for him.
I see him all over the place. Like I see him like early second round. I see, some people in their mocks have him going like top 15 to like the
Mhm.
Hornets. And I was like, hey man, you never know. I think another player like Zuby Ejiofor, I think is
Mhm.
just like a Detroit guy, 100%. It gives me like Isaiah Stewart vibes all day.
How many of those guys do you need, Dre? You got Paul Reed. You trying to get all the tough guys?
Oh yeah, we love him up here. Like as soon as I saw he had a pre-draft workout for Detroit, I was like, okay, we're looking for Beef Stew's replacement. Like we're looking for just like another Isaiah Stewart,
All the
100%.
tough guys. You know what? You're talking about covering locally. Zuby went to school probably like 5 minutes from where I live, and it was Zuby, and I think he has a younger brother, and it was Zuby at 6'8". It was a bunch of 6'2" dudes, and Zuby was like he literally played in a phone booth because he was so big. It's regular high school basketball.
Mhm.
So he saw all the double teams, all the triple teams that taught him how to pass. He shot just enough threes to keep the team honest. They lost to you mentioned that you have a lot of Michigan guys for the Pistons. You got a lot of Texas kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cade, Dennis Jiggins, Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland. But Zuby, they lost to Duncanville High School, which had the forfeit, but that Duncanville team had Ron Holland on it and it had Anthony Black on that same team. And they
Oh
lost in
wow.
the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there honestly, I think a lot of people just talk about how like when you look at like high schools and you look at like states, like I feel like Texas has a lot of like if you were to like this put like the Tyrese Maxeys, the Cade Cunninghams, like the Miles Turners, like there is so much talent that comes out of Texas. It's insane.
Keontae George.
Yeah,
Still got old dudes like they old now, but Julius Randle.
yeah.
Like, Texas basketball, I almost don't think you have to do the prep route. I mean, Trey Johnson. Matter of fact, I went to a game. It was Trey Johnson versus Casey Wallace, like on a Tuesday night. And it was some of the best basketball ever because Trey Johnson at 16 with his baggy jersey, you were like, that dude is a professional basketball player. So, I mean, Kaysen, Trey Johnson, Jacoby Walter, uh, it's every year. And it's going
I,
to be every year for as long as possible because people keep moving to Texas.
I feel like Texas is becoming this kind of like the new like Florida for like these kids. Like it's insane. Like like, as soon as we like drafted Cade's like, yeah, we need more Texas boys up here, and then like we just like keep every year we add someone new. So maybe it will be Daniel Sweeney. Who knows? You never know.
Maybe. I mean, hey, man, we got facilities here, man. There's a rec center every 3 miles because it's too hot to play outside. So, yeah, we got other facilities that are gonna keep pumping out the talent.
Yeah, I mean it's honestly kind of crazy. I was just kind of thinking about it off the top of my head. Like we don't really have too many uh, people right now in the league. I would probably say like Franz Wagner is probably the best player that played at Michigan, but he's not from Michigan, but he played at
Right.
Michigan. Like we don't really have like a lot of local talent. Like Darius is probably like the highest draft pick that we'll probably have for quite some time.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Detroit has its cycles. In the '90s, it was a bunch of guys. Early 2000s, and then it has its waves. But the more like the more inner city kids, we get the Chicago built back up, Detroit. Hopefully New York City comes back. Like I wish that wave, but at the same time, with these prep schools, these kids are moving around. So it is what it is. As long as they still claim their hometown, we'll be okay.
I know when I worked at this high school company, like we did Catholic League, and all these Catholic leagues are just like buying kids from like halfway across the state. Like when Monty Williams was coaching here,
Mm-hmm.
his son Elijah, who's a really high. I'm sure you know who he is, Elijah
Going to
Williams.
Baylor, yep.
Yeah. So he was at Brother Rice. Then you had Trey McKinney at Orchard Lake, who won a state
Mhm.
championship. The kid won a high school championship and then a national championship. Like if he wins an NBA championship, like that kid's like he's already a winner. Hasn't even played in the NBA yet. It's honestly kind of insane.
And then when those kids like that go to teams like bad teams and they lose more games, like Cooper Flag. Cooper
Yeah.
went from, being the man in Maine to Montverde was basically an NBA basketball team, goes far to Duke, and then they ask him, like I think in December, he's like, I've lost more games in 2 months than I have probably my entire life. Like there's a huge adjustment. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to those things because you see, oh, he's making 10 million a year and he's gonna make, 90 million a year at some point in his career. But like that losing, it just hits you because you're not used to it.
No, like a lot of these prospects, they're not used to losing. Like when we had the losing streak, like man, I've never lost 28 straight games in my life. Like this is insane. Like
That was crazy, man. They lost 28 straight.
To be honest, Monty wasn't like he was checked out. Like he literally said in this press conference, "I just came here for the money." Like like I can't hate because like I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, but it's too many people, man. Detroit is such a proud city, man. You can't do that, man. So
say traumatized Cade, yeah, 100%. Like
man,
Cade's been through. I mean, Cade won a lot too. Like he didn't lose that much until he got to Detroit, and he's like, man, this is crazy. And he still doesn't have a number two option.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they turned it around because I think Cade is just such a professional. I think he's a great ambassador for the game. Like that dude is a pro, and even though he's 24, 25, like he's very much so a professional. Like he's locked in on his craft. I knew he was. I mean, him being from here, like we had heard about him when he was a little kid, but like I really enjoy when he put his yays on at draft night because that meant that he was going to endear himself to the city. And I think everybody, all these number one picks, should at least do something that is like culturally relevant to where they're being drafted. And him putting on the yays, like I was like, oh yeah, you guys definitely got one for sure.
Man, he was here in Detroit a month before the draft. He went to a Tigers game in his suite. And like you got like Detroit fans saying, "We're taking you number one," and it's he was locked in. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't want to go to Cleveland. Like I wanted to go to Detroit."
Yeah,
he's like, I didn't want to go to Houston too close to home because like distractions and stuff like that. But yeah, man, he's been amazing. I mean, shout out to his cousin Ashton, who's I'm sure you know who Ashton is. Like he's
I played 1-on-1 against Ashton once, man. He probably doesn't remember, but I had to give him a couple buckets, man. He can't have people thinking they're the only one that can play basketball. So,
who won that game?
I won, man. Come on now, man.
I'm gonna
tell you real quick before I go, man. So I was at Mo Williams, LeBron's friend Mo. He had a gym down here in Dallas, and he used to have the grind week, where there's a bunch of guys they got ready for training camp, and Draymond was there. Thaddeus Young. Basically half the league lives in Dallas during the summertime, right? I mean, it's just cheaper to live here in the summer. You claim residency, no state tax, those things. And then like they had different trainers there, and I was training at the time, and they were in between, guys playing. So they rolled the ball out to play king of the court, and I keep to myself. But it was another guy there, and I know it was Ashton, and the ball came to me, and I was like, I'm competitive, and I was scoring. I was getting buckets, man. Like, it is what it is. I won. It's like, don't think because I'm a little on the shorter side, but man, I really get out here, So
that's funny. Like Kate's whole family, like his brother Cannon, his cousins. I mean, they're sitting courtside. They're all locked in. Like they come up from Texas up here for a couple of games throughout the year. But that's honestly funny that you did beat him in a little bit of a king of the court game.
He might not remember. I definitely remember. That's all that matters. So.
I'm gonna have to text him after this podcast is over and see if he remembers it all. He'll be like, "Nah, it never happened."
Now he's gonna come looking for me next time he comes back, and I got to get back into shape. That was a while ago. A few pounds heavier, but I'm still good in my head. So,
I mean, hey man, you don't. I'm sure you still got those moves like in the
yeah. You upset my daughter all the time in the kitchen. So
that's funny, man. But I do appreciate you coming on. I want to give you the floor for people to find your work because you do a really good job at NBA Draft Junkies. Definitely go check out the podcast, The Big Board. I did watch it today. I've watched so many people's big boards over like the past like week. I don't know how much more NBA draft I can get into, but like for people that still want to get into the NBA draft, reading the Substack, supporting you, tell the people where they can find you at.
So on Twitter, I am at Draft Junkie James. On YouTube, I am NBA Draft Junkies. Now, you talked about, or if anybody's trying to get caught up, I got video scout reports on a bunch of these guys, and they're like 6 to 10 minutes long, nothing too crazy. I just try to give you the pluses, the minus. If you're trying to cram for this draft, whether you're a Pistons fan or just a fan in general. And also, I'm on Substack. I'm writing articles. Sometimes there's scouting reports, there's mock drafts, there's big boards, a little bit of everything. So you can definitely find me there. And I'm basically talking all things basketball, not just the draft. So,
well, definitely go check that out. Like I said, I've always used to see, like when I got into drafts, like when I was younger, like coming out of high school, like NBA Draft Junkies would always be in my timeline. Like I think it was like you in Draft Express and then like Hoop Intellect. But it seems like all these, YouTubers that, started on YouTube are getting picked up by NBA organizations now. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'm next because
hey man, you never know.
I know somebody. Matter of fact, man, I got somebody on the inside at the Pistons. I'll hit my phone call, man. Let me make sure I make that call after this podcast.
Hey man, you never know, man. Like we need all the scouting help we can get.
Hey man, just put some buffs in my contract, and I'll give you my best.
Man. We will see you guys on Sunday. We're doing another podcast. It won't be draft focused, be more like Piston news, stuff like that. But we'll see you guys pretty soon. Take care. And as always, go Pistons.